Hi, I'm Howard Snader. I'm the owner, managing partner of the Snader Law Group. The Snader Law Group has been serving the Phoenix metro area in everything related to criminal defense for literally 30 plus years at this point. And today I wanted to talk to you about a question that came up from a client recently who had just been arrested. It was kind of interesting because I've had clients arrested all the time over these years, and some ask some questions, some ask some other questions. This client asked all of them all at one time, and I figured what better way to communicate the information than might be to do this type of video. Normally when somebody's arrested, my information is how to contact a bail bondsman or how to go out and hire an attorney. That's not what we're going to be talking about today. His questions concern the steps he should be proactive about, knowing that he's facing serious felony charges that could likely result in a long prison term, and how he can best set himself up financially and protect his assets, what he can do in the short term to make sure things are going to run as smoothly as possible while he's out of custody. So with that in mind, I wanted to address just a few of the basic questions that come up beyond bond and beyond court appearances and beyond hiring the attorney. First up was, let's talk about powers of attorney. In many cases, my clients are not able to get out of custody, but whether out of custody or in custody, you may want to consider doing a power of attorney that gives somebody you trust access to your assets, your financials, who can close down your house, your apartment, who can take care of your pets, who can take care of your bills. More applicable when you have a jail term and you're gone for anywhere from a couple weeks to a couple of months, who's going to just run your day-to-day stuff while you're gone. So a power of attorney might be really important to have done. You just have to have the right person that you trust and make sure it's a power of attorney that is good enough for what you want to accomplish. In many cases, banks have their own forms. Doctors may have their own forms. So we can do a general power of attorney, but sometimes the institutions want their own form done. In addition to the power of attorney, something else you may want to consider is how can you liquidate some assets. Obviously, you can do the real quick stuff like selling things or going to a pawn shop or trying to auction them off. What I normally am dealing with are larger dollar amounts, and for that kind of thing, we look at refinancing a home or putting a second line, a home equity line on the house. At least at my office, I have referrals that I can send people out to, some people that can get it done very quickly, some people that can go to the bank or take time and find a better interest rate. But you need to understand the mechanics of how that works. So yes, it is a refinance. Yes, you may be able to pull money out depending upon the equity you have in your property. The nice thing is it gives you a line of credit or cash, so you don't have to go to a bondsman. You don't have to pay their 10% fee. The recent client paid a bond of $75,000. He had to come up with $7,500 and then put up the collateral in his house as security for his release. That $7,500 is far more than whatever the interest would have been on the same loan had he had a line of credit or a credit card with that much equity on the card. So hypothetically, if he had a home line of credit for $100,000, all he would have had to do is write a check for $75,000 to the court. The court would issue the bond, he'd get out, and at the end of the case, he'd get his $75,000 back. He wouldn't be out the additional $7,500 he had to pay to the bondsman. So if you can develop a second line of credit, if you can get those finances in order, if you need help doing that, we can help you get that done and get it done pretty quickly in most cases. So the power of attorney, how to develop a line of credit. The next thing was, should he engage in any counseling services? As I always tell my clients, counseling services never hurt and may help. And I say that because if you learn one thing in counseling, great. If you're getting a plea offer from the state or trying to resolve the matter, and the prosecutor is sitting on the fence as to one plea or another, the fact you've been going to counseling or dropping clean UAs, things like that can really, really make a difference. So I would encourage you, yes, go get a counselor. If you can't get one or find one, you don't have an insurance company that would recommend one, then again, I have referrals all over the place for those counselors needed for whatever your issues are. The real crux of that, though, is when you go talk to a counselor, depending upon the nature of the crime, they do have reporting requirements. And the real good counselors and psychiatrists, they'll know how to avoid going down that path. But on my end, if you avoid naming the victim, naming the dates or the locations, you're going to be okay, because the only way they can report a crime is if they have specific information. So if you go down there and say, I have a general problem with alcohol, I have a general problem with drugs. A lot of my clients are facing sex offenses. They just need to talk in general that they have a problem about a certain type of sex offense without, again, naming a victim, a location, a date, or a time. You can get started with the counseling services up front. The court may or may not give you credit for that when and if you're sentenced and they order you back into counseling, so you may have to start all over again. But in many cases, they will give you that credit. That's all great. So the power of attorney, starting up in counseling, dropping UAs, those are all things you can be proactive about. And certainly if you engage our services, I'm going to walk you through that path. But it was just interesting that this one client brought it all up in one shot and not piecemeal like many clients do. And actually moving forward, this is going to be a more pronounced part of our intake, and make sure that clients know that these options are out there and how to better prepare for them. If you have any questions, please reach out, give us a call at the Snader Law Group. We're here to help you at any time. Thank you.